Vaccinations have become one of the most controversial topics in America, which seems outrageous because they are an essential part of ending life-threatening diseases. Why are they so controversial then? First, we must start with the source, Dr. Wakefield, who no longer has his license for obvious reasons. He started the connection between autism and the MMR vaccine, which started a mass hysteria across the world, and still has parents convinced not to vaccinate their children. Although there has been great amounts of evidence proving there is no connection between the MMR vaccine and autism, there are still anti-vaxxers continuing to use aggressive rhetoric to warn parents against vaccinations. Health professional Heidi Y. Lawrence explains that when vaccines are looked through a rhetorical situation and viewed as an object, we can see how persuasive they are at convincing parents not to vaccinate their children. Today, I will be discussing my study on the convincing rhetoric of anti-vaxxers and how they spread false information to the general public. I'd like to first begin with the impact of anti-vax celebrities. Jessica Biel is an anti-vax activist with around 8.8 million followers on Instagram. This article was found on Rolling Stones. Biel posted an Instagram voicing her opinion on SB 276 bill in California that would limit medical exemptions for vaccines unless parents have the approval from a medical health official. In her Instagram post, she explains that she is not against vaccines but believes parents need to have the choice in deciding if their child should receive a vaccine or not. Biel is currently delaying the vaccination of her children because of a friend's child who allegedly has a disease linked to a vaccination he received. Biel's Instagram post uses pathos to her followers' emotions, which is a common strategy among anti-vaxxers, which causes fear throughout the general public who are not correctly informed. Another way to look at this is when someone's favorite celebrity decides not to vaccinate their children, they want to do the same. Jessica McCarthy is another celebrity who has made her anti-vax stance very public. In an interview with PBS, McCarthy shares a story about her son Evan getting diagnosed with autism. McCarthy claims she noticed symptoms after Evan received the MMR vaccine when he was around 2 years old. Evan started having seizures, eczema, and constipation. She decided to take her son to a psychologist, and that is when she received the news that her son was autistic. Her emotional rhetoric used about her son and false information has the power to convince people not to vaccinate their children. McCarthy is now making an effort to reverse her son's autism and help with his gut-related issues caused by the measles vaccine. She has also become a public advocate for the Generation Rescue organization that aims to help heal autism and prevent the disorder. McCarthy prompts parents to delay vaccines if possible so their child does not contract autism. Clearly, the way McCarthy talks about her son is sad and can convince people not to vaccinate their children. Now I'd like to share another story from Image magazine about a mother who regrets not vaccinating her children. Kristen O'Mara was an avid anti-vaxxer who thought she was protecting her children and believed others were foolish for vaccinating theirs. Until her daughter got extremely sick and now feels guilty for risking her own daughter's life. O'Mara says, "If I can make one anti-vaxxer think twice, speaking out will have been worth it." Kristen uses her job as a teacher to reach out to parents and tell them to vaccinate her children and not make the selfish decision she did. O'Mara is just one of many anti-vaxxers who have changed their mind on vaccination, which is promising news for our future. We can see the rhetoric O'Mara is using is pathos because she is using an emotional story to grab the attention of anti-vaxxers. She is appealing to people's emotions through sharing her frightening experience with her unvaccinated daughter in hopes parents will not make the same mistake she did. Finally, I'm going to present a graph that shows you the dramatic effect of anti-vaxxers. When I first began my research, it was about a month before COVID-19 appeared, and obviously it has gotten much worse since then. I found this graph from Slate, and I think we can look at this graph in terms of the spread of coronavirus because it is very similar in flattening the curve. It is vital to vaccinate people to end diseases, and although there is no vaccination for COVID-19, it is still extremely important to follow protocol until there is one so we can stop the spread for good. This may be the vaccination that has the potential to flatten the curve of anti-vaxxers because of the way it has affected the world. I believe this is because millions of people have been extremely financially affected by this sickness. Everyone wants their life back, and this won't be possible without getting vaccinated. I hope my talk encourages you to take everything on the internet with a grain of salt because aggressive rhetoric can be very convincing, especially when appealing to emotions. Thank you.